Hi everybody, you've reached Lasha at High Voltage. Well, if you read the hashtag and if you read the entirety of what I typed out, I wrote it out and essentially I'm going to read, and in hi one person, thank you for watching. Essentially, I'm going to read what I'll be talking about. Meghan Markle. What don't we know about her? We know everything. But what do we really know about the root, rotten to the core of this jackal? Jakal. I'm not joking. And bear with me, because it reminds me of The Omen. Did anybody see The Omen? Raise your hand. Did anyone see The Omen? Raise your hand. Well, if you didn't, well, you should. If you didn't, well, you should. There's something really weird about Hollywood. Why do they know things before us? At any rate, kind of Meghan Markle reminds me seriously of Rosemary's Baby. She really reminds me of Rosemary's Baby. Is Meghan a joke and a hoax? And what is her purpose? What is her real purpose? Did anybody ever see that movie Simone? If you've never seen the movie Simone, you need to see the movie Simone. And if you are under 53, you will have no idea what movie I'm talking about. But I can promise you, you'll understand why I'm referring you to this movie Simone in reference to Meghan Markle. Now, I wanted to show a clip. However, I'm using my phone to make a video right now. And as Gen X says, educate me. No, educate me on that. Educate me. I heard that the guy that was on Bill Maher that started the whole Marching for Our Lives back in, it must have been 2016, 17, 18, because I know I was in the wheelchair back then. So, c'est la vie, life isn't always what it be. Anyways, somebody was watching, and as soon as I started to joke around, they left. So I guess people like us to stay serious. Also, I was watching Bill Maher and Candace Owens talk about the moon landing. And then Candace Owens did a show about how the moon landing was a hoax. And I remember my neighbor asked me that in 2020. Do you really think we landed on the moon? And I said, I don't know. I believe anything at this point. With that being said, since I've been watching Candace Owens, let's just say my aunt was correct. I do not believe that there was a moon landing. I truly don't. Well, I wanted to give myself like a buffet tonight. You know how they wear their hair like a beehive at the back? I just didn't have time to do it. But yeah, I really wanted to change this year. I should really cut my... Actually, that looks pretty cool. I like it like that. No, I do. I like it like that. At any rate, so Yeah, I was talking about Gen X. And so that Candace Owens was on a video, a podcast with Bill Maher, and he was defending the moon landing and the government and yada, yada, yada. And, you know, Candace, when she's on a show, she's always curled up. I don't know if you ever noticed this, but she's always curled up. And she was very honest about her eating disorder, anorexia, which I had. I don't have it now. I'm just old. When you get old, you start losing collagen. But I tell you, Trevor is going through all of my Facebook pictures, and he's going to show you pictures of me when I was 46, 47, 48, and you'll see what that surgery did to me. But anyways, keeping on track. So, as Gen X says, educate me. And I wanted to know, after Candace Owens debated the moon landing with Bill Maher, did she know prior to the interview that she was going to do a show to basically debunk everything that Bill Maher was saying? I have so much respect for this woman, but my aunt never, ever, ever believed that there was a moon landing. Not in a million years. So we'll be talking about that. And then also, with Love Meghan, yes. Well, with Loathing by Lasha, I'm going to teach you some basic leadership skills. But for those of you that are good people, and you're either in sales, management, or you're starting a YouTube channel and a new job, and I know you're probably thinking right now, which I think myself, well, if I was a trainer and a regional at Jenny Craig, and I was trainer 5 years in a row, and my numbers, which I never used to call my numbers because it was our team. That's the way that I led. But it didn't fall into the line of Jenny Craig because they led by fear. So the first thing we are going to do tonight is I'm going to go through leadership skills, what it means, and what happens if you overuse it, what will happen if you underuse it. So for say, if you're in university, if you're going for an interview, if you are Gen X or Gen Z or, Jug A or, Ball 1 or Ball 2, you need to watch this. Now, speaking of balls, wait a second. I also wanted to talk about YouTube. And when I heard that 3 billion people tune into YouTube, I couldn't believe it. It blew me away. I couldn't believe it. It blew me away. So anyways, and then I was just thinking about the leaders of the world and how we really are all SEVLAS. We all are. And I really want to know who's running the show. And one of the things that I do know is that it was, it's God. And at the end of this podcast, excuse me, I will be choosing a verse from the Bible because it is Sunday, and I wanted to read some of that. And I wanted to also talk about Jordan Peterson and the interview he had with Piers Morgan, the interview that Piers Morgan had with Candace Owens and Michaela Peterson in reference to Jordan Peterson's addiction to benzodiazepines. And yes, so this basically is episode 1, January 19th of 2025. Welcome to Lasha Rajenko on High Voltage. And now I should have a song, right? But instead of having a song tonight, I want to show you some results. So, one of my goals has been to really start to take care of myself, my needs, what I feel, gain weight, eat properly, keep the house tidy, and respect myself and not give myself away. And so I achieved that. I have gained some weight. Whoops. I've gained some weight. I'm scooting to no frills. I'm getting healthy food from my mother and I. It's not every single day, and it's not as structured as it used to be. And it's kind of like what Candace Owens said on her podcast, those who can't do, teach. Which is interesting because one thing that I was excellent at teaching was counseling when I worked at Jenny Craig. And why do I refer to that job? Because that was sort of the peak of my personal, professional success. Okay? So, I just want you to know, if you have any issues or you want to learn about leadership, okay, I'll have to write this down. Well, no, I'll remember. So if you want to learn about leadership, carry the red line to 12 minutes, 53 seconds, and 13 seconds and 40 seconds. 13 minutes and 40 seconds on the Lasha Rajenko channel. By the way, if you are on the Lasha Rajenko channel or you happen to come across it, would you mind? I'd really appreciate it. If you decide to subscribe, would you mind subscribing to High Voltage? Because there's 771 people, and I'm really excited because one thing that Josh said to me, and I think the reason I did a video about insults is one of the things he said was true. When he said, I bet your friends and family never thought you could do well. And that is true. Which reminds me, I want to talk about comments and why they matter. And it's not about just you leaving comments about me. Now I need to go get a scarf because it's a little cold for this chickadee. I'll be right back. She's always the woman to me. Oh, I know what else. You know what else I accomplished this year? 1 second. I'll tell you what I accomplished this year. Just 1 sec. You know what else I accomplished this year? I not only gained weight, but I also made some changes with my life as of late. Like, I wanted to do something different with my hair. So I did. I wanted to start, being more in control of, eating healthy instead of neglecting eating and nutrition, because I know that will help me. So I was looking at old footage. Sometimes when I start with a channel, I don't watch the brand new stuff. I'll watch sorry, I'm really cold. I'll watch the older footage first, because you can see how the person has grown, and, maybe I don't really okay, I get distracted easily. So let's just stay on track here. I'm talking to myself. So, leadership. Now, this is about personal disclosure. So, all of you ask yourself this question when you're at work, when you're with your fellow teammates, even the language we use in the workplace, employee, in a jail, inmate, right? But at any rate, personal disclosure. Shares her thoughts about personal strengths, weaknesses, and limitation, admits mistakes and shortcomings, is open about personal beliefs and feelings, is easy to get to know for those who interact with him or her regularly. Now, in my opinion, I think I have decent disclosure, okay? But there are times that I overuse that skill. So when you overuse the skill, which is right here, okay, it may turn off some people by excessive directness, may leave herself open for criticism because of his or her honesty, openness, and directness may actually lead to a lack of trust. Open style may lack credibility with some. So in other words, loose lips. What if one talks about themselves all the time? Will they be talking about other people? In my case, in my situation, no. But I've met people who overshare and talk about everybody. If you underuse this skill, a private person who does not discuss personal information, a closed book to most, hard to tell where she is coming from, may not believe in sharing personal views and phobias, works to keep personal and business separate, may fear what will happen if he or she discloses, may be shy, doesn't ask others for personal information, doesn't know what is helpful to share or why people find it valuable, may believe he or she has something to hide, may be defensive and unwilling to share much. I'm going to go through 3 of these competencies today because they are interesting. So anyways, when you listen to these competencies, whether you're dealing with family, you're dealing with work, you're dealing with a relationship, but mostly when you are like the manager, where do you think you fall into this? And hey, humor me. And after this live, after you've watched the whole thing, where do you think I fall? Am I a skilled at personal disclosure? Do I overshare because I'm so honest and people might interpret that as distrust? Or am I really, really private? So ask that about yourself and then ask about mine. And for those of you that keep popping in and out, 3 or 4 people must be bored of this, but I don't find it boring at all, because when I go into a store nowadays, I don't find any value in the customer service. I really don't. The other thing is planning. I think I will stop at this one. We're going to work on 2. Personal disclosure and planning. Accurately scopes out length and difficulty of tasks and projects, sets objectives and goals, breaks down work into the process steps, develops schedules and task people assignments, anticipates and adjusts for problems and roadblocks, measures performance against goals, evaluates results. That's good. Somebody who's good at planning. If you overuse the skill, you may be overly dependent on rules, regulations, procedures, and structure. You may leave out the human element of the work. You may be inflexible and have trouble with rapid change. If you are unskilled, you don't plan for much. You may be a seat of the pants performer, scratching it out at the first minute. Doesn't follow an orderly method. And process flow, may be disdainful of planning and come across to others as loose or too simple, which, yeah. Scope out difficulties, plan for task completion, develop schedules, and do roadblock management. May be confusing to work for and with. May be demotivating to others. Interesting. So, we will talk about overuse, disclosure, and we will talk about planning, and we will follow up tomorrow. Now, I'm supposed to be doing a live with Trevor, but he was going to ask me in reference to homelessness, but that's a huge topic, and I do want to talk about it. I really do. But Trev, if you're watching, I've done this tonight, and I worked hard on this. I hope you all read what I wrote as far as the way I was looking at everything in a detailed way. But at any rate, the Meghan Markle thing, I mean, I'm just so tired of everybody. And you know what? YouTube is going, when I found out that 3 billion people type into YouTube every day, I blocked, which means, does that mean disgust? I just put my head back like that. What does that mean? Why am I afraid of that? Do I feel like I'm not going to fit in anywhere? I don't know. But you know, Meghan Markle takes up a lot of breath, and she takes a lot of energy to talk about. I really think she's worse than a narcissist. I think she's a psychopath. I think her family is involved. Harry and Meghan are related. The royal family knew everything about Meghan. And I just found it funny in the Netflix series, my dears. I love River. Have you ever watched River on YouTube? She's phenomenal. She's like a natural woman. She is. But Meghan Markle, I did a video already today about her showing up at the fires. So we already we already know everything. And for legal reasons, allegedly, the children, I mean, why people always say, why isn't the mainstream media reporting it? Because they're paid off. That's it. There's 11 families running this world, but there's a God, I'm telling you. I also want to talk about Jordan Peterson, but I'm going to leave it at that right now, because what I have to say about Jordan Peterson, I watched his video with his daughter twice. I watched him on Piers Morgan, on Joe Rogan, and I watched him from the start of his career up until today. And he's from Ontario, and they're going to yank his license because of tweets, and we're going to talk about that. Also, and Gabor Mate, he's a Canadian psychologist, neurologist, who did so much for people on East Hastings. And because of Prince Harry, he had to go on CEO, Diary of a CEO, to ask for contrition. We've all sinned. And I want to leave this with a Bible end. And this is what I opened today. Job. I'm just reading one verse. Okay. Many years ago, a man named Job lived in the land of Uz. He was a truly good person who respected God and refused to do evil. Job had 7 sons and 3 daughters. He owned 7,000 sheep, 1,000 camels, 500 pair of owen, 500 donkeys, and a large number of servants. Job's sons took turns having feasts in their homes, and they always invited their 3 sisters to join in the eating and drinking. After each feast, Job would send for his children and perform a ceremony as a way of asking God to forgive them of any wrong they might have done. He would get up early the next morning and offer a sacrifice for each of them, just in case they had sinned or silently cursed God. When I think of penance, I don't think of hurting myself or being a do-gooder. That's not why I'm starting this charity. It's because I want to, I really want to change things for people. When a surgeon got away with what he did to me, how can they take Jordan Peterson's license away? And also, a doctor in the Barrie area got fired because he was addicted to fentanyl. And people that are addicted to fentanyl, I should have had my jaw broken. I have a really bad overbite. That's why my cheeks look like they're failing. But at any rate, I'm really going to get into the Jordan Peterson, the benzos, and then the daughter was talking about opiates. And, you know, he acted like a big baby. That's honestly my opinion. And I'll leave that for episode 2 of Lasha Rayenko at High Voltage. And for those of you that passed through, thank you For those of you that liked any of it, let me know. If you didn't, let me know. And why do comments matter? Because it can change people's lives, you know. You know, when those girls were being really mean to the dossier project, when the vow was really big, I wrote, because I was in a cult with Jenny Craig, and it took me years to recover from that. It did. And those comments are in the Frank report, April 11th, 2022, the Frank report. Or it could be 2023, absolutely. So check it out, April 11th of 2022 or 2023. And I want to know whatever happened to Nikki Klein and Allison Mack. Also, you know, Jordan Peterson's license being yanked because of tweets. Oh, come on, government. Give yourselves a break. And it's like Justin Trudeau and Biden are just puppets. Like Candace Owens says, it's the CIA. And in Canada, it's called CETHIS. CETHIS. And, you know, Canadians used to be pretty chilled out and nice people. But I'm telling you, those two people that lived here, I've never seen debauchery like that in my life. I've never been given so many Bibles before. Not because I was doing drugs, but because they were living in the house. And my friend said, they're going to rob you blind. The guy broke my mother's lamps apart because they were pewter. And he took it to the scrapyard to buy meth. And Jill wanted me to take one of my videos down. It's my free speech. And you know what I've realized? YouTube is like the new academia. Go watch the movie Simone. The other movie that's good, it's called Truth. When people used to want the truth. Remember that movie, The Invention of Lying? I knew a day would come when we wouldn't lie anymore. And I'm wearing my hair up tomorrow like Shania. All right. Don't want you for the weekend. No, okay. Don't try to run. Okay. Have fun, everybody. I hope that was entertaining for you. I learned a lot this weekend, though. Like, even True Detective from 13 years ago, they were talking about, you know what, worship. Oh, yeah. And now Hollywood is Hollywood Babylon. It's like the dust in the wind. Okay, bye. Bye. Thanks for coming. Nice to chat with you again, Avril. Bye.